What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Straight Edge Wrestling Podcast. This week in wrestling, my name's Adam. I'm joined with Tyler, as always. I can't see which side of the screen you're on.
You're kind of right the first time, Just
Yeah.
put your finger down a bit.
That way. There.
Well, actually,
there.
stop pointing the belt. Just give up trying to point.
So another week of arena wrestling, empty arena wrestling. I don't know how much longer this can go on for.
For a while, apparently, but
Quite a while.
after WrestleMania, it was a bit disappointing, really, wasn't it?
It was a week of nothingness from WWE. Some interesting bits from AEW, but also quite a lot of nothingness.
Well, there was some great commentary from AEW.
Yeah, that was a saving grace. There's some good promo work from AEW, probably one good match, and then a lot of nothingness.
I don't know. I saw two good matches. AEW.
We'll get to that. So we'll start with the news, and then we'll go into the shows. So
Can't we start with the shows and get them out of the way first, and end with something probably a bit better on a better night?
Okay, we can do. I think it's all going to go downhill from when we start talking about the news. Is probably even more depressing. So okay, sure. Let's talk about the shows. We can do that in 5 minutes.
Oh, well.
Raw and
We had
SmackDown.
a good video last week.
So Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, they're all right. There's a lot of recapping from WrestleMania and not much more going forwards.
Yeah, and do you know what the thing is? It's like the Raw after Mania is always hyped up as like the big Raw after Mania.
You know what? I was watching Raw, and this Raw needed fans.
Oh, it really needed fans. Yeah, it needed
WrestleMania. WrestleMania was actually quite great, where you didn't have a lot of it worked really well without.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the reason why this Raw is only ever any good is because the fans won't shut from 1 hour to the final hour.
Yeah, the Raw after Mania is always the one where the fans just basically tell WWE to go F themselves, essentially, that they take over the show. Nothing really of note happened on Raw. Nia Jax made her return. And the Big Show and Drew McIntyre had a WrestleMania match of some description.
Well, yeah, I find that quite amusing. That was kind of what their main event.
Yeah,
was what happened at the end of WrestleMania.
Yeah, WWE.
They also overplayed Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar's bit there.
What do you mean?
Well, they started off with the show, and then they showed the same stuff again in the middle. And you know what really peed me off, though, going off a completely different bit of that. They advertised that they're going to re-show you The Undertaker and AJ Styles and then do it in a highlight form.
Yes.
I had to watch Triple H versus Roman Reigns as a repeat, John Cena versus Bray Wyatt as a repeat. Why the fuck can I not watch one match that's better than any of them again?
Yeah.
Full blown.
Yeah, they're still under contract to not show it live, but they are apparently going to be showing it live. From what I've heard through the grapevine, they will be showing it live in its full format at some point over the next couple of weeks, as well as the Firefly Funhouse match.
What, just so I can try and see if I can make sense of what the fuck happened to my life there?
Yeah, you can sort of try and realize it in the daytime what the hell has happened. So nothing really happened on Raw. SmackDown, there was a couple of good bits. I mean, you had Miz and Morrison do their just ridiculous rap.
I love their rap song. I actually watched it on YouTube. I was just like, this is awesome.
It's so white. It's so funny. I love it.
The thing is, it's so bad that it just works.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like a car crash you just can't look away from.
It's like Barbie Girl all over again.
Yeah. So we're going to obviously be getting the match we should have been getting at WrestleMania. The New Day, the Usos, and Miz and Morrison's for the tag titles is obviously coming.
It could be. We don't know. Next week we got the second bunch all doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's probably they're either going to do it just on a random SmackDown, or they're going to wait and they're going to hold it on their empty arena Money in the Bank pay-per-view. There we are.
That could be an interesting one.
A down note for SmackDown is Corey Graves is back.
Yeah.
Michael Cole's been doing a very good job with his sidekicks over the past few weeks.
Because I was a little bit behind on wrestling this week, I just watched AEW before I watched SmackDown.
Oh,
so I was still on a high from Chris Jericho.
Exactly. So. You hear Jericho's commentary, and then you go back to Corey Graves, and it's like, oh no, yeah. I did like the little bit in the Nikki Cross Asuka thing where they were both on the announce table, like fighting over the fact that Asuka was trying to commentate. I did like that.
Oscar and commentator. Oh my god.
Yeah, Nikki Cross though,
I still
she
need,
was
I
good.
need to find someone who can speak Japanese and make sure she's actually speaking Japanese and not just shouting random crap down the microphone.
Yeah. Of course, the show ended with Braun versus Shinsuke, and it closes the show with Bray Wyatt from the Firefly Funhouse.
I was confused by that. They were missing someone. Where was Sammy? Sammy.
Look, people are going to be missing like out of nowhere, and we're not going to have any idea why over the next few months. So
Saudis got him, didn't they?
I think there's a bigger threat looming out there now than the Saudis. They the show ends with Bray Wyatt and
That's
Braun
what they like you
Strowman.
to think.
Yeah, and the obviously the implication is that we're going to have a Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman versus the Fiend match. If it's Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, obviously it's going to be a completely different ending, I should think. But
Not if it's going to be not live.
well, you know, I'm going to say it probably will be live because, as we'll get onto, that is now the edict. So
Yeah, until Vince gets sued.
well, I mean, he's already in the middle of like 8 lawsuits, so whatever. I don't think he cares.
Arrested, one of the two. Well, he will do when he gets arrested.
Hey, it helps to be the best friends with freaking President of the United States, doesn't it? Let's just say that.
Yeah. He's almost an 80-year-old billionaire. They might quite like his ass in prison.
Nice. I mean, it's still he ain't going to be his shows aren't going to be shut down anytime soon. Not when he's got the Oval Office on speed dial. Unfortunately.
What, his wife?
No, the man with the fake hair that sits behind the desk. But Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. So we're obviously going to get them. And my assumption is, and I know you disagree with me slightly, but I'm going to assume that what they're going to be doing is they're going to basically do full circle and go back to the Fiend being the champion again. If they do the Fiend versus Braun, if they do Bray Wyatt versus Braun, maybe not.
I don't know. I can see them getting build Braun up.
Yeah, but I think they've tried building Braun up around about 90,000 times over the past 5 years, and it's always been stop, start.
Just need to try to stick to something and then not suddenly take something off of him.
I think they're just buying time until Roman maybe comes back.
Well, yeah, then why not just keep it on fucking Braun for a few months?
Yeah, well,
still with when Roman comes back.
Again, it's one of the.
Told you how to do the story for that.
Again, it's one of these stupid things where again they've put the Fiend Bray Wyatt in a title match which he doesn't need to be in because he shouldn't lose. They could book anyone else against Braun. They could book a story with him and frickin' Cesaro, anyone, because no one's watching the damn show anyway. So just do anything to buy time until Roman comes back. I don't think it should be the Fiend. If Roman comes back, it just shouldn't be the Fiend because the Fiend just once again he just beat Cena. He shouldn't be losing.
Did he though? Did he beat Cena? He didn't really do much.
Well, he made Cena disappear into nothingness. Whatever that means.
That was the WWE universe.
Yeah. Well, so AEW.
No, he hasn't disappeared into nothingness. His film comes out next year.
Oh yeah, he'll be back again. So AEW, a much better show than Raw and SmackDown.
They started off shit.
No. They started off very, very good because they started off with Jake Roberts' promo. That was how the show opened. That was a very
I'll give you that bit, but the opening part for the match, that was crap.
Yeah, it was very bad. And Britt Baker suffered a deviated septum in her nose, so she was fucked up.
So she couldn't get a tooth stuck up there, no.
No, not Mick Foley like through her nose. But yeah, that was whatever. I mean, Britt Baker's definitely improving in the ring. Definitely improving.
But her character's shit, and unfortunately, announcement didn't actually help that much because they were just sucking up to her, and it was just like that.
Yeah, and you know what? It went on a bit too long for my liking. I think that's a calling card of AEW.
The one bit I actually did like from that match is when Brie Baker went into the camera and told the announcer to tell him if she's heard the vision and stuff. I quite like that.
Yeah, yeah. But
The rest of it I couldn't care about
yeah,
because I struggled to back her opponent as well. As much as out of a lot of them, she's the Japanese what I prefer, but I struggle to sort of back her a little bit. I don't know why.
yeah, I'm not really. I'm kind of hit and miss on Brit and all that. Look, they're trying with Brit though, so I'm willing to sort of see where it goes. But they are trying. We had Matt Hardy cutting a promo with Vanguard One. He called the Inner Circle. Basically this was a glorified T-shirt commercial. He called the Inner Circle T-shirt dumpster fire, and had it on fire in a can or whatever. And then he
Yeah,
promoted
but I
his own
like how he
T-shirt.
went. I quite liked how that actually went about when he was like, "Oh no, it's like an actual dumpster fire. I read it."
Yeah. And then he invited them to the Hardy compound. So we're obviously going to be getting another Hardy compound match, which is
Is
great.
that where Jeff Hardy walks along in the camera thing by mistake?
Just shit. Just hiding behind. Oh crap! Yeah.
You see Jeff Hardy on a dirt bike go flying over,
Oh,
breaking his other leg.
I moved too fast and I went all blurry. Yeah. You see,
Yeah, that's a good look for you.
it's like Dean Ambrose getting in the back of, or John Moxley getting in the back of the shot on WWE backstage.
He did that on purpose, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, he did that on purpose just to fuck with him. We had a Mr. Brody vignette. Now, I'm just not sold on this yet. I mean, it's early days, but
I'm enjoying it just because it's always good where the former employee comes along and shits on their former job.
yeah.
So
Do you know what's annoying me about this? Only like we all know this is all a dig at Vince. Like we all know it, but then Cody's out there vehemently denying it and saying absolutely not, absolutely not, absolutely not. And it's like, oh, come on, dude. It clearly is. Vince is known for hating sneezing, and like last week, what they have him picking on the guys in the writers' room for making noises and shit. And it's like, come on, it's clearly, and making them call him Mr. Brody for God's sake. But yeah, no, I'm willing to give it a longer time. But at the moment, I'm a bit like,
it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Or is it where always people go to WWE and leave them?
Yeah. I mean, do you know what the one thing is? WWE's been doing this the last couple of weeks, and AEW's obviously as well. They've been using lots of like job guys, bringing in lots of local indie talent to give them a payday, which is good. But I think you can only do that once or twice before you start being like, oh, come on, we know who's winning this damn match. There's so many of these matches where it's just like, no, they've done it on SmackDown last night, where they brought in Albert's son to face whoever he faced. I can't remember now. But
Albert's son was in it, was it?
Yes, yeah. And then they do it on AEW. Then with obviously Mr. Brody faced a job guy and all that. There's only so many times you can do that, I think, before it gets a bit like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but I thought the jobbers for AEW were supposed to be on the Dark Show.
Some of them are, but some of them they've just got local indie talents in. So Tony Khan announced that they would just be basically trying to give indie guys a payday, which I'm all for. That's a great thing. But
it'd also be nice though that it kind of irritate me a little bit with AEW. They keep advertising about this tournament thing, but I only did one match.
Yeah,
I only did one match. If we do this tournament, I'm going to be here for the rest of the fucking year.
Yeah, like they've clearly recorded it. They've clearly recorded the whole tournament because they've recorded everything up until for a month, basically.
I would have been happy with 2 matches from that thing, like the Cody side and all of that, like being done.
Exactly that. I don't need to
next
see.
Week do the other 2.
I don't need to see a throwaway Michael Nakazawa match. I do not need that. It just done nothing for me. I didn't really need Britt Baker's match to be as long as it was. Just exactly.
But I like
Give me
Kenny in that trying to battle for the best friendship title.
Yeah, it was fine, but I think it went on way longer than it needed to be. But if they cut that down, cut Brits down, they could have done the Sammy and Darby match and it'd been fine. I think.
Well, you could have just changed one of those matches to that.
Yeah, but they're still trying to. I mean, the thing is, the Kenny thing didn't actually mean anything, so they should have just got rid of that entirely. At least with the Brit thing, there was the trying to build a story there. Um, yeah, and
But
then we had
thing is, what I quite find, we're trying to build a story there, but they keep killing her every week in the.
yeah. Although at least this time with her looking like sort of busted open and stuff, maybe she looked a bit of a little bit like a badass, a little bit.
Yeah, but it's AEW. That doesn't matter. All that matters
Yeah,
about
that's
is
true.
whether you win or lose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Apparently, because
fair.
I don't quite understand how when they went through their ranking thing and who's there in each division, I couldn't work out how they were doing it properly. Because there were some that were better off, and then there were some that were a bit thingy, and some that looked slightly different. You're like, what?
Yeah,
Right.
I they've never really just sat down. They could have when this all started, they should have had Tony Schiavone sit down and be like, "Welcome to AEW. Here's how our ranking system works." You know, if they were going to do
I
the
just don't
rankings,
understand what. There's no offense. I can sometimes get bit confused when I look at American league type things when they do it like that, and they'll have the
yeah,
win and loss.
yeah,
And you're like, it doesn't always quite make sense. Why not just do their thing as if you win, you get this many points. If you draw, you got this point.
yeah. Like it should just be UFC style. You know, you got this many wins, this many losses, this many draws. Bang, end of. You know, but yeah. So obviously, Chris Jericho was on commentary, and he was phenomenally good as always.
Definitely did the best line of any commentator I've ever heard.
Yeah, go on.
Oh god, I'm gonna mess it up now. It's all about the fork. Where they were talking about doing weapons and things like that. It come to whose match was it? Oh, I think it was Kenny and that tag team match, I believe,
Yeah,
where and he's like, oh, it was to do with I think what's his name with his
Orange
baby.
Cassidy. Oh no, Michael
No,
Nakazawa. Yeah.
like with his like, at least put it down your shorts or anything, or tuck it in there. Like, normally, if I get searched, I'll have a fork, I'll have he lists off a load of different. But it's then he turns around, I'll pull out a fork and I'll make a bitch bleed. I was just like, what? The fuck? I lost
Yeah.
my shit. What?
Jericho was. I tweeted out being like, "How can Jericho be so good at everything? I don't understand how he's literally just the best at everything. It's ridiculous." No, I loved it. I think it was good. I think he's the best they've had on commentary. Like you know, they had Cody and Kenny and all that. I think he's definitely the best. He was so good.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't try and take it so seriously.
Yeah, he's trying to be, and this isn't a knock on Cody. I have you know Cody has grown on me massively. He was my wrestler of the year, but he when he was on commentary,
So
he was very monotonous and very boring and very dull. Blah, blah, blah. So hearing Jericho crack jokes and being very quick was sort of a breath of fresh air.
there's Jericho throwing out all those major word things to do with commentary.
Yeah,
He's like, I know this stuff. I'm learning this stuff. All
I
right,
did
calm
like
down.
I did like it. Yeah, and the match ended with Cody versus Sean Spears. With
I like it.
for the for the tournament for the TNT Championship. Yeah, I think it was a good match. I said I didn't like the finish. I didn't like the double crossroads, but
I did. Because
yeah,
at the end of the day, where your argument is you've seen him beat him with it before in the past. That was like a year ago. He's getting better, and they're trying to push him and make him a stronger character now.
yeah. But also they've been they try and build finishes. In AEW is normally quite good at building finishes. You know, no one kicks out of Kenny Omega's one winged angel. In fact, no one has ever kicked out of Kenny Omega's one winged angel.
Wait
And
for it; it's gonna happen next
in
week.
in AEW in New Japan, no one's ever kicked out of it. You know, so they protect you know Jericho's Judas effect. They protect those things, but I don't know. I think it bugs me that you hit a finisher and it's not protected, especially in a match like a throwaway match on TV. It's not like Undertaker
Yeah, but
hitting Shawn
thing is,
Michaels with 4 tombstones at
Kenny,
WrestleMania.
Kenny and Jericho have like 20 different finishes.
Well, they have the one now.
They have 20 different finishes.
Yeah,
Cody actually has one.
yeah, but they have the one now. You know, like Jericho's protected finisher is the Judas effect. Kenny's protected finisher is the one winged angel. And now it's like, oh, but Cody then they're not protecting his move. So then it's like, well, why do I? So now whenever I see someone get beaten by one of them, I'm now going to be like, oh, well, that guy's a pussy. You know, it's because then it just means that why did Sean Spears kick out of two of them? and so can kick out of one. You know, it's or gets beat by one. It's such a little thing, but I've been listening to a lot of like JR's podcast, and that's what he keeps on moaning about AEW, about overdoing moves, and that's I kind of have to agree with him.
Yeah, but JR's old and mean and just likes to moan about everything.
Hey, Jericho says the same thing on his podcast. It's really bizarre to me that these guys work for AEW and then they'll sit there and criticize the TV show quite a bit. It's quite. I mean, it's good. It's not like WWE where they're like, "How dare you say these things?" But yeah, we have some. I say 3 big news items from this week. One which came out yesterday, which was that WWE had flown the talent in to Orlando to record for SmackDown, and then they were going to record until May, the middle of May, the second week of May. They were going to record all Raws and SmackDowns right the way through. And then Vince McMahon decided in his infinite wisdom that no, we're going to go live. Screw you guys. You're going to come in and out. We're going to go live.
That's just because he's still upset that he lost XFL.
Yeah, so that's another little bit. He lost the XFL.
But it's a shitty move. Should have just done the recordings.
Yeah.
Not only has that been for better stories and stuff like that.
Yep. I think it's an unbelievably shitty move from Vince. I think any wrestler that I tweeted this out, any wrestler that has the balls to stand up and say, "Go fuck yourself, I'm not coming in," has my infinite respect over the next who does it over the next few weeks. My infinite respect, because they shouldn't be there. They just shouldn't. They should not be being forced to travel around the country to go for a freaking TV show. Vince has designated them as essential media so that they get allowed out. Wrestling is not essential media. I'm sorry, it's not. It's bullshit.
I didn't actually know the wrestlers were technically media.
Well, exactly. They're not even employees, for God's sake. So how, whatever. It's just I think
that's a whole different discussion on that conversation.
That's a completely new other thing for another time. But I think this may be the worst move Vince has made, other than this and the Saudi deal.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how many superstars, when it comes to their contract, aren't around saying, "No, bollocks," because the way you're doing business these days.
Yeah, I think we're slowly seeing more and more just how little Vince McMahon gives a flying fuck about his talent and his employees.
Well, he's getting that one step closer to death now, so
yeah, so he can back it. Why not? Talking about,
I'll take him all with me.
Yeah. Well, other than Saudi Arabia, when he boarded the plane and left them all behind. Talking about talents re-signing, so it was announced yesterday as well that the Revival have officially been released from WWE, effective immediately. No 90-day non-compete.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
So they asked for it 15 months ago. They wanted their release 15 months ago, and WWE have just randomly agreed to it, even though their contracts ended in like June anyway. And I think that this is kind of a thing where they know AEW have recorded all their TV for the next couple of months. They know they can't use them anyway. But yes,
when they go to New Japan,
they are definitely going to AEW.
Oh well, I can't be able to watch AEW anymore.
No, look, I'm all for the Revival going there if they're allowed to actually have a personality and able to actually be characters and not be generic wrestler number 1 and generic wrestler number 2. I'm all for it, because they are great technicians, great in the ring. They are sort of Brett and Anvil style wrestlers and things, but they've never had a single ounce of charisma in their WWE run. But I don't think that's on them. I think that's entirely on WWE and how they operate.
You can't say that. Was it Scott Dawson that fell over coming down to the ring over the SmackDown ramp?
Okay, they had one time where they showed some charisma. That was great. But I'm all for it. The inevitable Revival Young Bucks rivalry, which is where they want to get to, would be great. That'd be great. I did see.
It'd be great if there was a championship involved in that, but there's not.
Yeah, that's true. I did see. Who are the tag team champion? Oh yeah, Hangman and Kenny. I was just thinking, God,
my favorite alcoholic and Kenny.
It's because obviously they've not been using Hangman really. Uh,
That's because
uh,
he's safe, staying at home, drinking.
yeah, I did see Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet tweet out maybe the most fucking idiotic thing I've ever seen anyone tweet out last night. He said that he thinks Jim Cornette should come in to AEW and manage the revival.
I'm done.
Yep, that is what Ryan Satin said. And if you go through and read his Twitter replies, it's a load
Fucking
of
Mitch and
people call.
fucking Belland.
There's loads. All it basically is people being like, "What you want AEW to bring in that massive racist
No, let's move on.
fucking
I'm done.
fuckwit." Yeah.
I'm done. Move on. I can't even. I don't want to talk about that Belland.
But anyway, the final story which has come out, not really a story, but it's an interview that was done by Ronda Rousey, where whether or not she was in character, who knows? But you know, we know that she was pissed off over how her WWE tenure ended. So she tweeted out. Sorry, she didn't tweet out. She was on an interview with Steve-O from Jackass, and in that interview, she said, I don't want to misquote her. She said, quote, "What am I doing it for if I'm not being able to spend my time and energy on my family instead of spending my time and energy on a bunch of fucking ungrateful fans that don't appreciate me?" So, yeah, because she wasn't happy about how things went down in WWE towards the end. So, but
No, what she just wanted was everyone to love her. It's not how fucking WWE. It's not how wrestling fans work.
yeah, I think it was like her and Shayna and all of her like four horsewomen. They were always under the impression that like UFC fans were the fucking worst and WWE fans were the best. And then she came to WWE and realized, oh no, they're really not. They'll turn on you like a dime, you know. So I think it was
But
like
that's
a
that's
awakening.
just how it is.
Yeah, I just think it was like
You get
a rude awakening for her.
you get paid a shitload of money to get booed at and still beat the crap out of someone in a ring, and then if you're being booed, you can just be a complete and utter bitch to the fucking fan. Wrestling it's much easier because you can insult fans to their face being a heel. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, do you know
You
what
can
the
have
problem
so
is?
much
It was
more fun
because
with it.
I think it was because, well,
The
obviously
problem
she
is
was.
she likes to be liked.
Well, I don't even think it's that because she doesn't. She embraced the heel thing. It's because she was kind of promised a certain thing, like that when they wrote, because everyone lives under the aura of Vince McMahon, where they think Vince can actually control what people think. So you know, she's promised that you're going to come in, you're going to be the baby face, you're going to be our big star, and blah blah blah, and then you're going to go on and have this baby heel fight with Becky, and Becky's going to be the heel, and then obviously none of that happened because
Yeah, but because
the fans dictate.
unfortunately, people were waiting so long for Becky to get her fucking
Yeah,
moment when it popped at SummerSlam with her and
yeah.
Charlotte.
And I think most people that like been in the wrestling business a long time realize that, and they realize, oh, we just sort of bend and change as to when and where. And her having, well, being very very new at the time, didn't really realize just
Well, it
how
shows you how well
everything
she watched the
changes.
fucking product then, didn't she?
Yeah, but it's different in it watching from a fan's perspective and being there when Vince is going, no, you're going to be the baby, you're going to be the baby, you'll be the baby, and then,
No
oh,
offense,
actually,
any fan that watches it, especially in the last 5 years, can say, WWE can say what they want and have who they want to be the guy, but the
yeah.
WWE fans are still going to have their word and tell you to go
I,
fuck yourself.
I suppose it's just so much different from Vince McMahon, from us saying that, and then from Vince McMahon promising you the world to your face with $1 million contract. You know.
Yes, but anyone that watches the product can, well,
Yeah,
Vince McMahon promise what he wants, but the
but
fans are going to do
still,
what they want.
yeah, but it's still, it's like we can say that until we have Vince McMahon in front of us offering us a load of money and telling us, no, this is exactly how it's going to be. Don't worry, it's going to be like this, and then
Oh
we'll be like,
God, no!
oh,
Like Vince McMahon want to offer me a ton of money. That's fine, but I'm not going to get
yeah.
upset when the fans want to do what they want to do.
Yeah, it's because obviously she had this plan of like, you know, she was going to be the woman to revolutionize wrestling, and she did, you know, and go on and headline WrestleMania and be the baby and do all that, and then put Becky over as the baby and go on and like take some time off, and it just didn't
Well, she
kind of
did do
pan
help.
out like
She
that.
did kind of help put Becky over, but unfortunately,
Yeah, she done
the
it, but
finishing the finishing of that match there was a bit questionable on how it
yeah,
ended.
yeah. So I think she left the company a
I
little bit
completely,
bitter.
I completely blame the referee in that point, as someone's shoulders was not on the floor, and you can obviously fucking
Absolutely.
see that.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So I think she left a little bit bitter from it all. But look,
And with a broken hand. Yeah?
and with a broken hand, she's gonna be back at WrestleMania next year without a doubt. I mean, it's in her hometown. They're already promoting her with it on it. Her and The Rock are basically going to be the two they want for the show.
Or what is one going to be kicking the shit out of the Rock?
Yeah, not together.
We're not going to get John. We're not finally going to get that fucking John Cena
Oh,
and The Rock. But
please no.
you
Please,
know, who
no.
knows? That could be the match of the night.
Yeah, or it could just be an absolute dumpster fire. But anyway, that's all we have time for this week. Head on over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. It seems like wrestling's going to continue for some time. I thought last week we thought it was going to be
I
it.
thought we were becoming a gamer.
Yeah, I thought we were going to become a gaming YouTube channel. So
I've already started with Final Fantasy VII.
yeah, it seems that wrestling's going to continue for at least the time being. So we'll see where that goes. But head on over and follow us at Twitter at SEW_podcast. Like and subscribe below to this video, and we will see you next time. We are out.